We are currently live from the qualifying session in Brands Hatch, or on Brands Hatch, where we have Ben Langford taking provisional pole with a 1:23.6. Behind him, Abe Santum with 1:23.7, following quite closely. And then we've got another driver, Eric Gazelle. He took a 1:24.3. He's in third place. And he'll be hoping to get a bit more out of that car. And if I can just use my computer, that will be so nice, because recently it's been acting up. That's all I can say. It's been acting up, and you can't do much. Oops, I searched up the wrong channel. Everybody. There we go. Right, just have to announce this. And then we can get back to the qualifying, where Abe Santima is trying to do a purple lap. He might be on to something here. Eric Gazelle, I don't think he's improving on his lap right now, so he will stay in third. Felix Palin, he's in 5th place, which is very good for him. I haven't seen him too high up this season. Very much an improvement for the ORC driver. And Tom Bartos also in 6th place. Very good stuff from the Ferrari driver. 1:25.5. Not a very easy track to do in the Ferrari, because of all the bumps and dips and all of those sort of things. And Abe Santima, he did take provisional pole position right now. Well, 1:23.4. That's not his quickest lap time that he has ever done, but it is on a fast track, so definitely doing pretty well to set a 1:23.4. And he was going purple for a bit, but did not come out of that. Ethan Reed, he is currently stuck in 10th, which is 4th place in the AM split, behind Ganahari Hutama and Rogerio Santos. Abe Santima going purple this lap yet again. At the start of the lap, it is pretty good stuff by the Porsche driver. And then this man right here, he has skipped out one race, which does put him on the back foot to win this championship, but he can definitely try and get himself back up and battle for the championship. He's currently sitting in 4th place, I'd like to say, in the championship. In front of him, he's got Luke Mason and Abe Santima and Mika Rakola, the current championship leader. Sadly, he is going to be losing that place since he has signed out of today's race, which is unlucky for him. But there are some circumstances that makes the driver not able to participate in races. And let's have a look at our current provisional pole sitter, Benjamin Koo, 1:25.0. That is a very good lap time indeed in the Porsche. He's 5th overall. He's provisional pole for the AMs. Rogerio Santos following closely behind, 1:25.3. And then Ganahari Hutama. And then Ethan Reed. Rogerio Santos, he is the championship leader. But all things can change if Ganahari Hutama is able to have a good race here, or a better race than Rogerio Santos. And there he is. Michael Malaysia. He's in 14th place right now overall. And while we were looking at him, Ben Langford was able to take provisional pole away from Abe Santama by just about a 10th. Which does indeed put him first. And he is only going to go for more. He is going purple right now. But sadly, that lap timer has to end since he has gone off track. And now it's invalid. Pocholo Demano currently in last place for the pros, and in last place out of everybody that's doing qualifying. Damon Boss sadly earning himself a qualifying ban. He's not going to be able to qualify, but we will see him in the race, which actually might be an advantage to him, since he won't have to face all the turn 1 drama and all the carnage that might happen. But we can focus on Pocholo Demano, who's going to be setting his first valid lap time off this qualifying. And we'll see where this puts him. And actually, well, commentator's curse coming in again. And sadly, not able to keep his lap. And going off the track. We'll see. Is there any rain coming across the horizon? Sadly, not yet. But the race is an hour away from the qualifying, in-game at least. And so we'll see what that brings to us. And actually, Ganahari Hutama taking provisional pole away from Benjamin Koo of a 124.8. And Ben Langford also going purple right now. And Abe Santama, no signs of him coming out of the pits. Looks like he is done. And there might be a guest coming in just a little while. Just have to wait. As Ben Langford continues to try and get a streak of pole positions, at least in the races that he has participated. Was going purple that last lap, but sadly not able to improve. Abe Santama finally coming out the pits for his final couple of laps. Final couple of qualifying laps. And let me just see if this will work. And we got a guest. A guest that is widely known to the audience, to the more original audience. Say your name, Tommy Brown.
Yes, once again, back. It's been, 3 full seasons, almost a 4th full season of Vgtr action since I was last sending my nasal tones down everyone's airwaves. But it's good to be back.
It's good to have you back indeed, yeah.
Been cleaning all morning, not normally free on a Saturday. So I thought, you know what, I'll take the opportunity. Take a little break from tidying up my apartment, and let's instead of just watching all the action from my local track, of course, my home track, Brands Hatch, let's get on air and join in the fun.
Absolutely, and you join in a pretty good time as the current British driver in the British car on the British track. I mean, it's the whole package over here. Takes provisional pole yet again, a whole 3/10 ahead of Abe Santama, the current championship rival of Ben Langford. Wow. It's just a dream so far. It's an absolute daydream. Not daydream. I'm talking absolute nonsense. But Ben Langford anyway, taking provisional pole with 2 minutes to go.
How do you change camera view in the observer view again? I can't remember how to do any of this.
With F1, F2.
Oh
no, F2 is for changing, like, you know,
F2
your
is so
timetable.
I can get my timetable up.
Exactly.
And I can, do I remember the button to get the timings up? Is it? No. You know, you can't
Timings
say.
is tab.
I'm just gonna
Timings
press
is
every
tab.
button on my keyboard until I get the setup that I used to have, because I'm a bit lost at the moment.
F3 is in order to get the TV cameras if you want them.
Yes, got that one sorted. F1's on boards.
Yeah.
F3 sucks between TV and drone cams. Okay, that's good. It's just so I can, like, you know, flick through the field and see what's going on.
Exactly.
At
Good to
some
have a
points.
second pair of eyes, because sometimes, you know, I focus either on the front too much and there's stuff happening in the rear, or I focus on the midfield and the front are having an absolutely good battle. So absolutely good to have a second pair.
Oh, we've all been there. I remember, especially with Brands Hatch as well. I think it was, season 2 or season 3 went to Brands Hatch, and it was absolute chaos. I think it was on the first, I think it was season 3, because it was on the first races when we had possibly the first race, the Pro and the Am split on track at the same time again after the original split. And there was, you know, there was some controversy, there were some incidents, and it was altogether quite a lot of fun to commentate on, it has to be said.
Yeah, and, well, the last race, I'd say Imola was probably one of the best we've had so far, so you're in for a good one. You're in for a good one, that's for sure. 26 drivers today.
That should be just about enough. I'm going to quickly do that. Okay. Nice. Looks like I'm good to go. Right, I assume what I'm seeing on your screen is what the stream is seeing as well, so I can just...
Exactly.
So it looks like Ben Langford to me, the number 181. Is that an Aston Martin? Yes, it is.
It is.
Absolutely. Great car spotting skills for me. Haven't lost it at all. But it looks like he's actually on a fast lap as well, so we'll see what kind of time he can put in. He's going to come across the line any second now. Currently sitting first with a 1:23.1. He does a 1:23.017. Ben Langford extends his lead over Abe Santum at the top of the standings with only 30 seconds left. And we've got yellow flags as we have a car off in the gravel at the exit of turn 1. That looks like someone whose name I cannot read from here because I only have the first names up. The second names up. I don't know what their first names are anymore.
Oh, Ben Langford celebrating his pole with a good old slam in the wall, I'd say. Perfect way to celebrate that, since Abe Santoma not able to improve on his lap time at all. In the final couple of sectors, he did indeed invalidate it, so he takes the runner-up spot alongside Ben Langford, and behind him you've got Eric Gazelle, the other VGTR eSport driver. And, well, I think Tommy Brown, one of your favourite drivers, Matas, he's sitting in 4th right now.
Always an eventful time when you got Matas on track, isn't it?
Exactly.
Normally quick, normally flamboyant, normally sideways or backwards.
And it doesn't even matter what sort of session. It could be practice, qualifying, formation lap, absolutely anything.
Yes, gutted to hear that he can't make the big grid race tomorrow, but I will do a little 360 in his honour.
Exactly.
At some point. Last couple cars out on track at the moment. Anthony Camacho, one of the OGs from the early seasons of the VGTR Challenge, setting his last lap time, last man to cross the line. He won't improve, he'll stay P14. And there's our grid, all set for the race.
Exactly.
Do you want to run us through the grid?
Oh, well, it'll be an absolute pleasure indeed. Well, we've got Ben Langford setting a 1:23.0 in one of his final lap times of this qualifying. He's in pole position for one of the shorter tracks in the season. Behind him, or alongside him, you've got Abe Santoma, which for some reason we can't see him actually. There he is. We've got Abe Santoma with 1:23.2, a pretty good lap time in the Porsche. Sadly, missing out on pole position here. With behind him you've got Eric Gazelle, then Matas Sidikeskis, the Lithuanian driver on the grid, and after him we've got Ganahari Hutama, the pole sitter for the AM split. We haven't seen too much of him, but definitely in the battle for the AM Championship. Alongside him, we've got Patrick Starr, then Tom Bartos, the Season 1 Vgtr champion, and alongside him we've got Rogerio Santos, and then Benjamin Koo, Felix Palin, the ORC driver, starting in 10th, which is 7th in the Pro Split. And then we've got John Gibson, the fellow Scot, also driving for Vgtr, and next to him we've got Michael Malajek, Ethan Reed, and we are actually on the grid finally. Then we got Ethan Reed, Anthony Camacho, Marcin Domanski, Alexandros Kurakid, Robert Bezant. Haven't seen much of him this season at all, so we'll see what he's able to do. Currently in 17th place. And we got Benjamin Badulf driving the Bentley, another beautiful British car. And then we've got Limpar Bertol, the Imola race winner. And then Pocholo Dimano starting last for the Pro Split. And then we got Miguel Astazaran, Ayrton Senna, Damas Adiasta, Leon Ken, Dean Smith, and Damon Boss to finish off the grid.
So appears we do have 2 drivers who haven't. Every driver has made it to the grid so far, except for 2. Patrick Starr, P6 in the Nissan GTR, number 67, still in the pit, as is Marcin Domanski in the number 14 Ferrari 488. Is that?
Yeah, wait, that is really weird. Hold on, how did they not make it to the grid?
They're not made it there yet. Yeah, they've still got 3 minutes until session start. I think maybe they should be okay, right?
Oh, well, we would definitely hope so.
Fingers crossed. It looks like someone's made it. Yeah, Patrick Starr's on the grid, I think.
Starr. There we go.
And hopefully we can see Marcin Domanski make it as well.
Marcin Domanski did indeed make it, but for some reason on my track map it still says that they are in the pits, which I have.
I'm just scrolling through and seeing if I can see anybody in. It looks actually to me it says they're still in, but the track map says they're on the. Let me switch my view quickly. Maybe I can see more clearly where they at. Nope. Yep, they are both on the grid. That's all good. No false starters this race. Who's your bet then to take this one? Will it be we've got 2 drivers over a second clear of everybody else in qualifying. Going for one of them, or maybe a little bit of an upset today?
Well, from Abe Santiman's last time shenanigans in Imola, I don't think we'll see him on to win the race, since last time out he finished 18th overall, having been crashed out by many drivers and making a lot of mistakes himself. I think we'll see the British driver Ben Langford take the win here. I definitely think so. Maybe we'll see a little glimpse of Eric Gazelle. He has joined the season quite late, but still could be up there if he wins this race.
Surely an interesting battle, I think, in the middle of the pack today. I'm personally of the opinion that we will see Ben Langford and Abe Santiman absolutely take off at the front of this race, and we might see a little bit of a battle forming between them for hopefully as much of the next hour as possible. The race behind them, though, looks very, very close, and I wouldn't want to call it. I think Eric Gazelle, as you say, in pole position in that little sort of group that we can expect to form behind them at the moment. But lots of drivers around similar pace, and of course we don't know who just might not have gotten the quite perfect lap out of their car during qualifying. Always possible, especially at Brands Hatch. Some tricky corner exits at times. It's one of those that lures you in a little bit at this track, I feel.
Definitely with also a bit of a chance of rain. It could mix up the grid, as the Aston Martin definitely more strong in the rain, and also a couple of cars like the BMW and the Lonely Bentley could see themselves up the grid if there is any drops of rain. Yeah, what the hell.
Do you think there is any hope of any of the AM drivers beating out Gerhard Hutama for the number 1 position? He's got 2 grid positions between him and the next driver, Rogerio Santos. Do you think there's any hope of them stopping him today? Oh,
I definitely think Rogerio Santos has it all in him to take that win for the AMs. Maybe we'll even see a bit of Benjamin Koo in that battle, but Rogerio Santos definitely has a big chance of taking the win today and securing his position as the championship leader, and probably taking the championship if he wins today.
It's a important day for the Vgtr Challenge Season 7. Yeah.
7, yep.
I should know. I was supposed to compete in this one, but you know, probably the best that I didn't. I would be firmly, barely
Last
just getting
place.
off the grid now. If I was in the grid, but you know, I have to wait until tomorrow to see what I'm capable of.
Exactly.
So if anyone is listening and is curious, just how much the person who's going to be shouting down their ears, talking out of his arse about how good the drivers are for the next hour actually is behind the wheel, well, you can tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. for
3
the
p.m.
big grid race.
3 p.m.
3
UTC. You
onwards.
are completely correct there.
81 drivers going around Spa. It's going to be absolute carnage, and if you're missing it, then quite frankly, I don't understand what better things you're going to have to do on a Sunday.
Exactly.
Who has an excuse? Mattas has an excuse. He's busy.
Yeah.
Gibson probably has an excuse because football's on.
There is.
But
There is.
Scottish League Cup.
Yeah, it is.
Old Firm as well, you know, big deal. But everybody else, I'm expecting you all to be there. I'll be disappointed if you're not. I'll cry within my car.
So you do not want to see Tommy cry. Actually, if you make Tommy cry, I'll definitely come after you.
Absolutely.
That's for sure.
Watch or kick.
Exactly. Watch or kick. Well, there is a lot of clouds forming up ahead or over the driver, so there's definitely a bigger chance of rain now, as it looks. 30 minutes. There is still no rain on the forecast, but I have hope. I have definite hope that there will be rain. Since we are racing in Britain, I mean, what better thing could happen in Britain than rain?
I know, it's, you know, it's... you got to question, are you even hosting a race in the UK if it does not rain at some point? I mean, of course, we have had it before. The legendary Season 3 Donington race was in the wet. Complete chaos from beginning to end, that one. And hopefully, if there are a few drops of rain later, this one does not disappoint either. Do you want to take the start of this race?
You know what? You take the start. You haven't done this in
All
so
right.
long.
It's been a little while. You can take over the starting duties again next year, but we do have the drivers coming up to the line now. Ben Langford on pole position, Abe Santamo alongside him. They'll each be wanting to get the best start they possibly can as the green flags are flying, and we're away for the 5th race of the 7th season, the Vgtr Challenge. It's a good start for Abe Santamo. Gets past Ben Langford initially, gets ahead into the corner of Ben Langford, able to outbrake him. He retains the lead through Paddock Hill Bend as they come up to Druids now. Ben Langford has the inside line, but Abe Santamo might look to hang around the outside. He's got great pace. Can he get a good exit? He's going to be on the inside for Graham Hill Bend. Yeah, that's right. I remember my Brands Hatch corner names, and they're still side by side. Nobody able to break the gap. I'm not entirely sure what's breaking off behind. It looks like most of the drivers at the top sharp end of the field have been able to retain position. We have one driver who looks like they might have been going round there. I'm not sure. I think we might be okay in the background, but let's pay attention to the battle for the lead at the moment, because amazingly Ben Langford and Abe Santamo are now heading down Pilgrim's Drop side by side up Hawthorne Hill. Ben Langford just about eking ahead, and finally the order from the beginning of the race is restored. Abe Santamo's view of the rear end of that Aston Martin is what he'll have to contend with for at least the next few corners, one would imagine. And, well, I think a relatively good start to this race. One other highlight, one move that did happen quite hard. Ganahari Vitama is now ahead of Matas Siderkerskis. And, well, I don't know if you spoiled anything else that happened during that lap, but I think it was a really
Absolutely
good,
not,
clean
but
first lap.
I am currently watching the Matas versus Ganahari Hutama. This is definitely not a fight that I expected to see. I mean, Matas Siderkerskis getting passed by the AM pole sitter, and, well, actually, Ganahari Hutama, you know, eking ahead over here, and Tom Bartos following closely behind, hoping to pick up some of the scraps that maybe Matas Siderkerskis might crash with Ganahari Hutama. Obviously, we don't think that will happen, but there's always a chance with the Lithuanian driver possibly getting into some action with Ganahari Hutama. Tom Bartos might be feeling the pressure from Patrick Starr, who is starting to close the gap. Behind him, Rogerio Santos, the AM championship leader.
Matas is going for a move.
Oh, Matas is going for a move around the outside here, but I think he's going to have to yield that offensive move. But hold on, he's got the inside here. He might be able to get him before the first that corner, and yes, up into 4th place. Sadly, not really changing the position for Kanahari Hutama. Still in first place.
Kanahari Hutama got a dodgy exit out of Surtees, had at least 2 wheels in the dirt, kicked up a whole bunch in the face of Matas Sedekaskis, but it also slowed him down.
And I think Benjamin Koo actually having a massive moment there. He's dropped all the way from 3rd down into 14th or whatever place that is in the AM split. Yeah, definitely having a bit of a spin, I think, or an off-track moment. Now he's behind Alexandros Kourikidis, and behind him he's got Anthony Camacho, who's in 15th place. And Martin Domansky, Benjamin Bedolf, Limpar Bertol, and Pacello Dimano all coming together. Last lap, nothing massive. No retirements yet.
It's all been very clean so far, has to be said. I think.
Well, you say that, and
we have one driver off, 2
Felix
drivers off.
Palin, Kanahari Hutama, Patrick Starr, Tom Bartos, all coming together in the 4th corner. Oh, and that is switching up the grid completely. Ethan Reed up into 2nd place, John Gibson up into 4th, Michael Malashek taking 3rd place for the AMs, and well, it's an absolute awful race for Patrick Starr and Kanahari Hutama, who was leading the race. Now he's all the way down the field.
We've got 2 fights at the front happening here. Ben Langford, Dave Santama, Eric Gasell and Matas Sidikerskis. The 2 battles of 2 we have going on. But if you look a bit further back, Felix Pyatt here is all over the place, trying to defend from a whole string of cars. And we have more cars off. That is Alexandros Kourikidis is off alongside Benjamin Koo. They're both in the gravel on the outside of Sheen curve there, and that is not how they would have wanted their little battle to go. Felix Pine has 2 fewer cars behind me now, but there's still one hell of a train forming.
It is absolutely hard to keep up here. John Gibson might be hoping to get the overtake on Michael Malashek to take the final podium positions. Into the hairpin he goes. Might he go down the inside here? He's still got his nose in next to Michael Malashek, but it doesn't seem like he's going to go for a move there. Maybe Tom Bartels will be able to go down the inside. They make contact. And Tom Bartels getting ahead, but that was not too clean by the Dutch driver.
Camacho is right on the tail of John Gibson here. Any mistake and Camacho will be able to move up. And of course, behind them all, Kanahari Hutama, who has dropped down, getting a slightly dodgy exit on the outside of Surtees, once again kicking up dirt. But it looks like some kind of peace and law and order has been restored to this little group.
And it looks like actually Eric Gazelle and Matas Sidikerskis might have got together. Eric Gazelle currently running with a lot of front end damage and dropping down into 4th, and will be dropping a lot of positions as Felix Payne will be able to get ahead of him before this lap even ends. And as I said, actually, Rogerio Santos able to climb up into 1st place. What's happened to John Gibson? Is he all right?
On the outside of Sheen. That's I think he's not quite kept he's dropped down a few positions there because of that. I'm not entirely sure where exactly he's standing. I think he's 15th at the moment, John Gibson, and we'll see as we come across the line here. My timing standings will get updated, and yes, he's slotted in just behind Pacello Dimano there in what is now P14 due to Eric Cassell coming into the pits, abandoning that fight with Matas. I tell you what, I was looking at Matas. If there was a collision between them, Matas came off a lot better. The backside of that Ferrari looking without a dent. Not entirely sure he's pulled that one off, I can't lie.
Maybe there wasn't any collision. Maybe Eric Gazelle got forced off. Or maybe he just made a mistake. We'll never know. We'll never know.
Until the replays come out.
Until the replay, yeah.
Number 92 is round on the outside of Druids. That is Benjamin Koo getting himself back on track. But he's relegated to last of the cars that are running in this race.
Absolutely. And actually, what's happened to Patrick Starr? It looks like he's taken an early pit stop. Down in 26th right now. Nearly a whole lap behind. But hold on, Abe Santama, he's starting to close the gap to Ben Langford. He's 3/10 off. As they're going to head into the first corner. Might he get a better exit here if Ben Langford makes a bit of a mistake?
I think Ben Langford did make a mistake. The gap last time they crossed the line was 1.9 seconds. It's now down to just 0.3. Abe Santama back in the running here.
And it looks like you are indeed correct. The last lap for Ben Langford, a 125.7. Abe Santom able to do a 124.2. 1.5 seconds quicker that last lap. And may be able to keep the gap this way. Oh, Abe Santoma! He had a bit of a moment. I thought he was going to go into a wall, saving it quite nicely. The Porsche driver. Oh, a lot of car control left, that's for sure. Though that is going to hurt his chance.
Yeah, it's a good save. It's unfortunate that it will drop him back. 1.5 seconds, the gap now stands. And that's, well, not what Abe Santoma would want to be looking at all. He finally just managed to close the gap, and a slight mistake there. You know, talking millimetres, and it set him back to square one once again. Ben Langford will be breathing a sigh of relief, though.
Absolutely, as Ethan Reed starting to close the gap to Tom Bartels. He was going to try and go for a move around the outside, but just not enough space there at all. And it looks like the Porsche feeling a bit more confident here than the Ferrari. Well, we might see this battle carry on for quite a while. Just checking the weather forecast, still nothing there.
Yep, still looks like it's going to be remaining dry for the foreseeable. Let's say there's probably a few drivers will be quite happy with that. As you see, Ethan Reed it looks ever so slightly quicker on the straights than Tom Bartels. He might go towards the inside here, but it's not quite going to work out. Tom Bartels shutting him out that time. And the order will be maintained. Tom Bartels remains in P6, P5 overall for the pro split. Ethan Reed maintains P7. He'll want to get past, so you can try and build a gap to Michal Malachek behind, who, you know, might be a threat if there are any mistakes taking place. Of course, he can begin then to reel in Rogério Santos as best he can. 2.4 seconds.
It looks like Pacholo Demano having a big moment. He's off the track yet again, down into 19th place. Definitely not where he wanted to be. He was making up a lot of positions. He was up to 14th one time, sadly making a massive mistake and causing himself a bit of damage even on the front end. I think maybe some on the sides. Down to 19th now. Might be trying to go and build, well, try and catch up to Ayrton Senna and get the positions back, as it looks like Robert Bezin having a massive battle with Benjamin Bidulph, and behind them Marcin Domanski and Miguel Estezarin as well, locked in a battle as Robert Bezant. And he continues to try and go. Maybe he'll go for a move here down the inside.
Number 14. Someone is off. It is Marcin Domanski, I believe, is off. And number 345 as well. That's Lund Ken also going wide at the penultimate corner. There's absolute chaos. Why did all these accidents have to happen at once? We can't look at all of them at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was a very beautiful overtake by Robert Bezin on Benjamin Bidulph into one of the final corners. So sadly, yeah, a lot of things happening. As we said, Brands Hatch, an absolute chaotic track as Demas Adiasta getting passed by Pacholo Demano into the next corner, and Pacholo Demano going for the inside here again and able to make an overtake, whatever that is, as Ayrton Senna makes a mistake coming out of that corner. And what is absolutely going on here as Pacholo gets tagged by Demas Adiasta tagging Pacholo Demano. And oh my god, this race cannot get any worse for Pacholo Demano. Went up into 15th, down into 19th now, and was trying to make a move again as Demas is, well, he is getting pretty aggressive, trying to make a move on Ayrton Senna.
When it rains, it pours for Pacholo Demano at the moment, it seems. Not having the best of luck in this race, but it seems like, you know, good to see that as the field has spread out a bit, we do have some more gaps forming, but there is still great racing happening all over the track, plenty to keep our eyes on. But I think this is the main battle track at the moment. I'll let you cover this because I don't know who the names are.
Well, Robert Bezin and Miguel... Robert Bezin and Benjamin Bidulph. Robert Bezin, we haven't seen much of him this season. He was trying to go for a around the outside move, but sadly making a massive mistake coming out of turn one, and ooh, looked like he was going to try and go for a little bit of a dive bomb with Benjamin Bidulph moved aside. Robert Bezin definitely having the pace advantage.
Ooh! Alexandros Kouikouridis is very, very quickly, very severely into the barriers at the final corner.
And there
That
he
was
is,
a very
actually,
weird
yeah.
reactionary noise from me. Made contact with Dean Smith. Is it Dean Smith?
It is Dean Smith.
It is Dean Smith. It's also the name of the former manager of Aston Villa, so I didn't know if I was making that up. But Alexandros
Kouikouridis.
Kouikouridis, yeah. Kouikouridis.
Yep.
Kouikouridis, yes. Very violently into the wall, made contact, rear wheel to front wheel with Dean Smith, and sadly ended up spearing off into the outside wall, has managed to make it into the pits. I tell you what, as all this has happened on track there, just going past them after he crashed, was the lead duo of Ben Langford and Abe Santama, who closed up to within half a second of each other once again.
Once again, indeed. Abe Santama able to just go that 700th of a second quicker than Ben Langford over the last couple of laps, and able to close that gap. And actually, as you say that, 4/10 is the gap as they come into those corners, up into Dinglebell, I think. I'm not really sure. I know that one's Sheen Curve. And Abe Santama able to take it much quicker. Oh,
wait, no, Dinglebell. Yes, Dinglebell is the straight. I didn't know. I can never work out where you're on track from the camera as a Brands Hatch, which is a bit embarrassing, because this is the only track in the entire game that I've actually driven IRL.
Oh.
Yeah. Fun fact.
Fun fact indeed.
I drove it in a Formula 4 car. It was quite a lot of fun.
Jeez, who let you drive a Formula 4 car?
Sorry?
Who let you drive a Formula 4 car?
Oh, someone who hasn't seen me play ACC.
Yeah, absolutely.
How dare you? But I'm wondering now, you're Abe Santama, you're behind Ben Langford. Not always the easiest opportunities to get past, I feel, at Brands Hatch, especially not with Ben Langford not really making many mistakes at all. Strategically, is there anything that Abe Santama might want to try and do to make this move happen and make it stick as well, given how similar their paces?
Well, with a little bit of a peek into his strategy, he was talking about fueling himself a bit too much in the first stint, and then fueling himself less for the next stint, so then he's lighter and able to catch up if he is still behind Ben Langford at the time. So I think his strategy for this race will be to go a bit longer in the first stint as he laps Dean Smith, I think that is. Will be to go further in the first stint, and then be a bit quicker in the last stint as well. I'm not sure he will be changing tyres, as this track is not too tyre dependent, but definitely will be trying to go for less fuel at the end. Though not sure what Ben Langford's going to be doing.
That is true. It'll be interesting to see if and how they react to one another here, because if you're Abe Santama, I think after the last couple of laps, you might feel that with a little bit of an overcut with the pit stops, he might be able to just make up a little bit of ground, especially if Ben Langford gets unlucky with traffic in between those pit stops. And so far, has to be said though, everyone who's been lapped has been very respectful. It's been very good driving today, which we'd like to see. Absolutely.
Well, I'd say very respectful driving. There's been a lot of crashes, so I'm not sure.
But they've not been involving lapping. They've been
indeed.
Racing. Yeah. Specifically, we've become good backmarkers in the Vgtr challenge. Now everyone just needs to learn how to race side by side.
Exactly, as Ayrton Senna is actually going side by side. This is a three-way battle with him and Benjamin Koo, and Dimas Adiastis go for the middle there, and that definitely did not turn out too well for... Who is that in the background?
Eric Gasell.
Eric Gasell.
Zigzagging into this pack. Very, very nicely done. He's ahead of Dimas Adiasta.
Ayrton Senna, though, losing out to Benjamin Koo. Benjamin Koo making two positions in a single corner over there. A very good move by him. But that is all thanks to Ayrton Senna, who did try and go for it in middle. Sadly making contact with Dimas Adiasta.
Unfortunate outcome for Demas Adiasta there. Ayrton Senna going for a little bit of a through goes Hamilton moment, trying to thread the needle between the middle of a couple of cars there. You don't often see overtakes happening through the middles. We have a car round that way, number 12, who's sent himself back to the pits. Eric Gassel has sent himself back to the pits now.
Oh.
So I'm not sure I'm there. I saw the yellow flags come out. He'd gone round, I think, or something, at the exit of 30s, where we see Abe Santama and Ben Langford are now battling as well. And I tell you what, Abe Santama might be annoyed here because he's got a back marker between him and Ben Langford. Damon Boss will have to get out of the way ASAP for Abe Santama's chances of maintaining a smaller gap as possible to Ben Langford. And to his credit, Damon Boss gets out of the way beautifully at the earliest opportunity. But the gap has increased to 1.2 seconds at the last sector split.
Yeah, indeed, and Abe Santama did work really hard to try and catch up to Ben Langford again, and, well, all that work coming undone by Damon Boss. Well, we're not going to blame only him, but just by the back markers on this very narrow track. That's got to be said. It's very hard to get out of the way safely, so...
It's just very unfortunate timing. Yeah. Like, as soon as he had an opportunity, Damon Boss moved out of the way very, very nicely, but of course, since it is so tight, even if you move out of the way safely, you know, if you're overtaking, you're kind of tiptoeing through, it seems.
Yeah.
You don't want to risk losing the back end or anything, especially not if you're driving a Porsche.
And I feel like a lot of the front end of the front drivers will be a bit skeptical of the back markers since, you know, their history. Sometimes they are not too predictable, so definitely losing out a couple of tenths there, because Abe Santama could have gone for a much faster overtake. But
yeah, I think flashbacks to that season 3 race I mentioned, perhaps.
It's Benjamin Bidalf closes the gap to Miguel Astazarán over here just a bit, but behind them, I was just noticing Kanahari Hutama colliding with Damon Boss, and that was a horrible accident. A horrible, horrible accident. Damon Boss looks like he was cutting in front of Kanahari Hutama and clipping himself on the front end of that Audi and tipping himself into the wall. And as that was happening, Ayrton Senna was able to get past Benjamin Koo for 17th place. It looks like Benjamin Koo is trying to get that position back. Behind them, Demas Adiasta. Yet again, this trio forming. Oh, as Demas, I think he went wide in turn 1. Able to recover.
We've all done it.
Exactly. As Ayrton Senna was just catching up into the first corner, not able to hold it though. Still a second behind. Absolutely chaotic.
Oh, that's what we like to. That's what we like to see. I think it's been controlled chaos. I want to say so far. You know, there's been relatively isolated incidents. We haven't had a NASCAR style big one yet.
Yeah.
So I'd say so far we're relatively successful. 1.15 seconds. I can tell you the gap between Ben Langford and Abe Santama. They are maintaining this gap for the time being. More traffic they're going to come across in a second. Demas Adiasta is the next man on track, and of course after them the battling duo of Benjamin Koo and Ayrton Senna, who are still not separating at all, still within a second of each other.
Exactly, and we've got also John Gibson, who is going a bit quicker than Anthony Camacho. He's currently in 11th place. Both are in the BMW, so similar machinery. And we'll see who is better here as John Gibson actually goes very, very wide. A bit of commentator's curse, as he was catching up quite nicely. Sadly, all of that going to waste.
Yeah, it's you know, that's the rule. You never cut to anybody. Who is it? I can't remember who it was. Was it Jacob Bisson, who every time I used to touch him, he'd end up going off track, and at some point I just avoided cutting to him altogether, and he actually started having good races. So, you know, it's always a risk when you cut to a driver that you're going to curse them in some way, but it looks like John Gibson should be able to recover 1.2 seconds gap to Anthony Camacho, and not too far ahead thereafter to Limpart Berthold, who is in the number 81 Nissan GTR, currently occupying P9, which is P4 in the AM standings. Top 3 AM drivers, Rogério Santos is in first place at the moment, ahead of Ethan Reed and Michał Malashek.
Yeah, my predictions coming true here. Rogério Santos yet again in P1. His race pace is absolutely immaculate. beautiful race pace by the Brazilian. And
he does still need to pit, however, and that's something that Ganahari Hutama does not need to do anymore.
Though Ganahari Hutama is down in 20th, so I really do doubt that he'll be able to get first place back from Rogerio Santos, but we can never rule anything out. Ganahari Hutama might make the biggest comeback of Vgtr history and take the win for the AS.
That's the thing. Right now, of course, this is a sort of he's had his incident for the day. Is a thing. I feel like if you have your incident before your pit stop, then you can sort of kill two birds with one stone, save yourself having to make an extra stop later on. And you never know, you know, since it is Brands Hatch, it's tight, it's close racing. If Ganahari Hutama can keep his car out of the walls, I reckon he can still look at a good finish in the AM split today. But, you know, Rogerio Santos, with the gap he has, even to the rest of the AM drivers, he's going to be hard to catch as Tom Bartels comes in for his pit stop. I think the first unforced pit stop of the Pro Split.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming in for a very massive undercut, it looks like. The first 24 minutes in this race already coming into the pits, as Anthony Camacho has caught up to the Nissan of Limpar Berthold, and we'll be hoping that he gets ahead of him. Sadly, this won't promote him in the class, but it will make him 8th place overall. And John Gibson will be...
This group has come together.
Yeah, exactly. And John Gibson will be looking from the back, hoping to pick up any scraps that might occur if these two do collide.
I'm riding on board with Gibson here. I'm going to see what he's up to. I kind of want to see a three-way battle here between the two BMWs and the Nissan GTR of Limpar Berthold. This could be the most interesting bit of action on track that we have. Although I will say, going down the straight right now, Marcin Domanski less than a tenth back to Benjamin Badolf, I think the name is.
Yep, Benjamin Badolf indeed. And this is a fight within a class. So Benjamin Badolf definitely having a better exit out of that corner. Might be trying to go round the outside here. Ooh, and that was a very close one between them two drivers.
He might be hoping to get a better exit out of Sheen Kerr, but it doesn't quite materialise. But might have a chance with good drive out of the final corner. Good drive through Paddock Hill Bend. I wouldn't say it's impossible. He couldn't begin to have a look in the opening few corners of this next lap. Good straight line speed on the Bentley is what I remember from last time I was commentating. So,
well, that has definitely changed since you have stopped commentating. Indeed, the Bentley is, well, not as great as it was. Definitely been...
Never mind.
A worse car. In the worst states, let's say. It's not the worst, but it's in the worst states.
So I always don't know these things because I've just become an Aston Martin diehard because it's the only way I can stop spinning.
Exactly, best car, I'd say, best car.
Absolutely.
As John Gibson has actually gotten much closer to the back of Anthony Camacho. Limpar Berthold already coming into the pits, I think I saw. Yes, he is. And he's going to come out in 20th place. So that is the spread of the field, it looks like. Limpar Berthold was running in 8th place and now coming out in 21st. So, well, we'll see.
This is why I think that Ganahari Hutama still has a chance as John Gibson comes in for his pit stop after we've been focusing on there. Maybe he'll be hoping that he can get a little bit of undercut on Anthony Camacho. But this is why I think Ganahari Hutama still has a little bit of a chance. He's come out ahead of Limpar Berthold, who was running in that sort of position. And not only that, he's come out almost 20 seconds ahead of Limpar Berthold. Like, without us looking at him, he's been very quietly getting on with a very clean and very fast race. And if he doesn't stop again, I reckon he was in with a chance for a top 3 here.
Well, definitely in a chance for the top 3, since he is going about a second quicker per lap than the current P2 setter, Ethan Reed. Ethan Reed doing 126.6, and Ganahari Hutama able to do, okay, a 126.84 his last lap. Still quicker and Ethan Reed by 2/10. And if he keeps this up, well, as you said, he'll definitely be in a chance for a top 3 position here.
I think my guess is that right now he would come out pretty. If Ethan Reed pits, he'll come out pretty much exactly where Ganahari Hutama is. I'm not entirely. I'm not
sure, as
100%
Ganahari Hutama. Oh, he made a contact with Dimas Adiasta as they were coming through the first couple of corners. Oh, that's going to put a bit more damage on that Audi.
For John Gibson.
Oh, and that is a drive-through for John Gibson. Oh, was he speeding in the pit lane? Did you see?
I did not see. I cut away as soon as he went into the pits. I've just seen the DT sign come up. That is DT bad.
DT is bad. Yes.
No. Yeah, I didn't quite see what happened there. I'm going to assume it was speeding in the pit lane because it has just popped up now. Unless he's, I don't know, come out and immediately done something else that would be judged as a grievance.
Well, there's not. That's his race. His good race is one of his first good races in the season. Yet again, turning to absolute crap.
Can't quite catch a break at the moment.
No, absolutely cannot.
I'm curious to see how this race shakes out after the pit stops, because we're at sort of the halfway stage-ish of the race right now. We're getting to a stage where roughly half of the drivers have pitted, and we're beginning to see more and more come in. And at some point, we are going to see somebody blink first between Ben Langford and Abe Santama.
Yeah, and Ganahari Hutama actually currently sitting ahead, well, second place in the people that have pitted so far. He's actually only 7 seconds behind Tom Bartels, who already has pitted. And Tom Bartels was running somewhere up there in 6th place, I would like to say. So, well, we're definitely rooting for this guy.
Yeah, I think that once everything, I think these guys have been going quicker than the people ahead who haven't pitted yet as well, fairly consistently. I'm assuming that Anthony Camacho, when he pits, comes out around P18, where John Gibson is right now, and that's a big gap that's formed between them. So we could be looking at a very, very interesting end to this race.
Exactly, as Abe Santama just trying to yet again go quicker than Ben Langford. He went a 10th quicker than the Aston Martin driver, but also making a bit of a mistake coming through turn 1, and that gap rising up just a little bit.
They are coming up to traffic though, Ben Langford. Marcin Domanski and Miguel Astiazaran are the next cars up on track, and he'll have to navigate them cleanly if he doesn't want to let Abe back in.
Yeah, we can have a look from the inside. The lapping of the back markers from Ben Langford's point of view, and looks like it's been pretty safe back marking as another Miguel, I think that's Miguel Astiazaran, just pulling to the side of the track, letting Ben Langford through.
Miguel Astiazaran and Marcin Domanski getting very close together, going through Shinko. There's Tom Bartels, I think, has brought out the yellow flags in some way. I think he might have gone off somewhere, but I'm not sure. I can see he brought out the yellow flags going down back straight, but didn't quite pan over in time to see what exactly he'd done.
Yeah, and it looks like actually Abe Santama definitely getting into the traffic here.
Yeah.
And it is costing him a lot of tenths here. At least he's already lost nearly a second to Ben Langford just by lapping Miguel Astiazaran and Marcin Domanski. And these two actually, Marcin Domanski and Miguel Astiazaran, in a battle right now. 7
it's always
tenths to go.
hard when you're a back marker in the middle of a battle. You know, you want to try and let the big fast drivers through as quickly and cleanly as possible, but of course you can't risk losing your position for it. And it almost happened to Miguel Astiazaran when Ben Langford came through, so I can understand why he'd be a little bit cautious when it came to letting through Abe Santama, as we see Felix Pyant has come into the pits, come out again, and sadly gone a drive-through penalty for his troubles.
It's absolutely horrible. As Matas reporting that he's got 14 seconds of damage, but he's not really feeling it, so hopefully he can keep his 7th place, as actually he was going a bit slow, and so is Abe Santama. He's having troubles with traffic again. And I'm not... Wait, was that troubles or traffic, or was that just troubles? Because he was going off the track, because behind them, Martin Domanski, yet again, trying to make a move around the outside. Miguel Astazaran having a very good defensive move, and Martin Domanski actually coming into the pits. And very slowly, I'm not sure what's going on.
So we might be able to see where Ganahari Hutama comes out relative to those two, of course, sitting before the pit stops, P2 and P3 in the AND split. So this will be a pretty crucial time for Ganahari Hutama. He'll be hoping he can come out ahead of those two, and then he can begin to hunt down Rogério Santos.
Oh, absolutely. Ethan Reed coming out of the pits now. Where is Ganahari Hutama? He is gonna be alongside Ethan Reed into turn 1. Are they gonna be making contact? Whoa! Are you clapping your hands?
Oh man, honestly, like, I'm partially because I
round the outside, and he's ahead of Ethan Reed just for a split second. Ethan Reed might be able to come back at him into the next corner, but it looks like Ganahari Hutama able to take third place yet again. Oh, absolutely wonderful stuff.
I knew he could get back into the race. I knew it. Oh, well, I can't believe that that's worked out that perfectly. They come out side by side. This is an insane recovery from Ganahari Hutama here. From all the collisions early on, dropping down so far, and all of a sudden he's finding himself back up in P2. Only Rogério Santos ahead of him. Of course, also Miguel Astiazaran. Abe Santima comes into the pits. He's pitting before Ben Langford.
Ooh, and that is a very big turn of events, actually. Hold on. Ben Langford might be fueled himself towards the end of the race.
He's got to get through traffic as well, though, Ben Langford. Maybe Abe's hoping to get some kind of undercut here, as Ben Langford won't be able to quite give it 100%. He's stuck behind Damon Boss. Going to try and get up the inside, going into 30s here, and he does get through cleanly eventually. But I think this might be what Abe is banking on.
Absolutely, as Ethan Reed, he is trying to go alongside with Ganahari Hutama into the first corner. And it's just a bit of a worse entry and compromising himself. But hold on, into the hairpin. Ganahari Hutama defending it quite nicely on the inside. And Ethan Reed not able to do much there, having a bit of a squirrely moment as they come through the first sector. And Ethan Reed gaining just a bit of time on Ganahari Hutama. I don't think he was too happy that Ganahari was able to get ahead, and ahead so nicely of Ethan Reed. And Ethan Reed, well, maybe he won't have the straight line advantage, but he'll definitely have the aerodynamical advantage that comes through these quick corners. And Ethan Reed just closing that gap. He's off the track, but that doesn't really matter. He still has all of that grip. 2/10. The gap now is getting way, way closer. As Ethan Reed nearly making a mistake, coming out a bit too wide, but still keeping it right nicely under control. And they're going to come into, what is that? Clearways, Clark Curve, whatever you want to call it. Might he go down the inside? No, he won't. Now, through the Cooper Straight.
Brabham Straight.
Brabham Straight? Is that the Brabham
Cooper
Straight?
Straight's the infield one.
Oops. Apologies for that then.
I know my local. I tell you what, there's a good battle developing a little bit further back. Robert Bezen, Patrick Starr, Felix Payant, nose to tail right now, going through Paddock Hill Bend. And the amount of times that I saw them inches away from making contact as Patrick Starr getting sideways, coming out of Paddock Hill Bend, gonna retain the position on Felix Payant as they go nice, smoothly, uneventfully through Druids. And it looks like maybe we will see calmness restored once again for the foreseeable. Only two drivers left to make their pit stop. Anthony Camacho currently sitting P4, and Rogério Santos, of course, the current leader of the AM split race here. Still waiting on those two to come in.
Absolutely, and Ben Langford coming out in third. So a pretty good pit stop. He's got 22 seconds gap to Anthony Camacho, so he's definitely got room for mistakes if he ever makes one. Ben Langford obviously not.
Crucially, he's behind Abe Santima.
Yeah, he is definitely behind Abe Santima.
13 seconds behind Abe Santima.
And actually Abe Santima, He's had a massive moment, and that's a yellow flag.
Oh. It's not 13 seconds anymore. It's going to close up quite significantly. Ben Langford will see the dirt, and he'll see Abe Santama in the midst of all of this traffic.
And Abe Santama not coming into the pits. I would think that he was going to come into the pits, because look at him. He is behind 3 cars as he's going to come into the first corner, and he is not going to be too happy with that at all. Oh, Abe Santama, that is the worst time to make a mistake. And now he's going to try and lap them as Patrick Starr is trying to make a move on Felix Palin. And Patrick Starr might not be too happy with Abe Santama as well, as he's breaking up the fight. Ben Langford, though, 3 seconds behind Abe Santama, and he's already made a pit stop.
Well, look at that. Felix Palin backing off to let Abe Santama in. I think Patrick Starr's going to take advantage of that in the background. Here, Felix Palin has gone wide. And I think he's dropped quite a long way back here. He's going to rejoin. Yes, he's almost falling into the grip of Limpar Berthold. He loses the position to Patrick Starr, and he also loses touch with him as well. He's falling back through the field. There's Abe Santama now.
Wait, did I miss something? Abe Santama already made a pit?
Yeah, I said that earlier. You said it was a big deal, remember?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even know. Yeah, I wonder why you were making more of a big deal about the fact that Ben Langford came out 14 seconds behind Abe, and then because I didn't even realise Ben Langford had pitted.
Oh, that is absolutely horrible, because I thought Ben Langford was going to be 14 seconds behind Abe Santama, and Abe Santama would still need to go to the pits, but no, wait, hold on. Ben Langford is on the back foot here. I've had an absolute massive...
26-minute mark.
Absolute massive brain fart.
Well, it doesn't seem to matter. Now, I'm not entirely sure what caused that 14-second gap. I wonder what Ben Langford was doing in his pit stop or what Abe Santama wasn't doing. But either way, what matters now is that there are no longer any cars between them. Ben Langford is only a second behind Abe Santama at the last split. And I'll tell you what, it looks like he's even closer than that now. We have a battle for the lead on our hands. Net lead, of course. Rogerio Santos is still 4 seconds up the road. Still refusing to come into the pits.
And still leading the race. Probably one of the first AM drivers to lead a lap in the Vgtr series, to lead the overall race. Rogerio Santos doing pretty good, I think, for himself.
I'm trying to think if I can remember anybody else who led a race while in the AMP split.
Yeah, well, I definitely can't think of anybody either.
I don't think it would have happened in Season 3 because that season was just Tommy Lydon leading every single lap.
Exactly.
Except for Donington, where it was you and Tommy Lydon leading every single lap.
Yeah.
Season 2, it might have happened for... No, Season 2 there was a split between them for half the season. It may have happened for a driver who we don't talk about anymore.
It might have.
The OGs will remember.
The OGs will remember.
In his original form, not his...
not his... Yeah, his other form.
Not his other entry, as we see Ben Langford all over the back of Abe Santama. I need to choose a better moment to make jokes. Abe Santama defending well from Ben Langford there. Ben Langford not quite able to find a gap through Druids. But it's looking pretty close now.
It absolutely is. And actually, I might have an idea of what Ben Langford might have done that Abe Santama hasn't done. I think Ben Langford might have switched for tyres, because look at the amount of grip he has out of all of these corners, and now he's going to be going alongside Abe Santama. Might he try and go around the outside here? Hold on, Ben Langford. That would have been an absolutely amazing move. He's off the track, and he's able to recover that quite well, keeping the gap, and actually maybe even closing the gap, as he's going to try and go another time around the outside, maybe try and go for the inside here, switcheroo. Yeah, I think Ben Langford has switched his tyres to more fresh ones because he's got so much grip.
Yeah, that would make sense. I bet he probably imagined he'd be catching Abe about 10 minutes later than this. With the gap he thought he'd have to make up, as we see car number 345 go off there. That is Lund Ken. And Ben Langford just putting himself in the wing mirrors there of Abe Santama, and might make a move up towards Druids. Abe goes defensive. Ben Langford will try and send it around the outside. of the Dutchman, of the two-time champion. But Abe Santama, the grip, he's getting on those old tyres at the crucial moments is absolutely insane. Ben Langford falls to settle for second place. They'll be almost side by side. They could get, but Abe Santama moving left, moving right, covering off every single angle he can think of as they go through Surtees. Abe Santama retains the lead, but Ben Langford might get a better grip out of here as they go down the back straight, down Pilgrim's Drop, underneath the bridge. Ben Langford pulls out alongside. Abe Santama has the inside line as they go through Hawthorne.
Oh, Abe Santama round! And I think Ben Langford is to cause of that, because look at him. He's pulling off to the side of the track, and he might be trying to give the position back to Abe Santama. That is a very gentlemanly thing to do, but I feel like that is costing them, costing them a lot of seconds. As, yeah, I think Ben Langford
I
did.
think they have the seconds to spare, to be fair.
That is absolutely true, but I mean, Matas might have got the position here. Who absolutely knows?
Oh, it's. Wait, we're living in a timeline now where Matas Sidakerskis might just have a genuine chance of winning this race if another incident like that happens.
Absolutely, I actually say he's gained, what is that, like 10 seconds on these two? Absolutely.
If you had, if we have been, you know, added to betting sites somewhere, and if you have put a tenner on Matas to win this race, you are probably about to jump out your chair and just cheering for another absolute send from Ben Langford on this lap. But I reckon he'll probably have learned his lesson by now. He'll know that he may still have about 30 seconds back to Matas or so. But
absolutely.
so many times you can be gentlemanly before it begins to punish you, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think even with that gentlemanly gesture of Ben Langford, it will not cancel out the fact that Abe Santama has got absolutely ruined tyres now. And I think they're going to be more ruined than Ben Langford's. And I don't think there's going to be much that Abe Santama will be able to do, as they're going to come into the same corner that they collided in. And Abe Santama, well, covering the outside line here. He doesn't want to replay the same thing that happened last time. Ben Langford, though, not able to get past Abe Santama for, what's that been like? The last 6 minutes, I'd like to say. 5 minutes.
I'm going to say, I think this is... I'll be honest, I haven't been watching all the races this season, so I don't know if it's always been like this, but this might be the best battle for the lead I've covered in all of my time shouting over the Vgtr, which is a pretty impressive first race back, and I managed to get something like
Ben
this.
Langford is going alongside, and he's ahead of Abe Santama for the lead of the race.
Will he be able to mount an attack? In return, though, Rogério Santos has come into the pits. He's actually made a pit stop. It's happened at long last. Abe Santama already, I think, dropping a little bit too far back. If he wanted to make a move, it needed to be basically now. And I think, having retained a position through Paddock Hill Bend and Druids, if Ben Langford can get through this lap without incident, I reckon the race victory is all but assured at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. That. I will tell you that is one of the best battles we've had for the lead, and well, it's no surprise that it's going to be these two that will give us the best show so far, because, well, Ben Langford and Abe Santama about the same pace when it comes to the race, and also about the same when it comes to strategy. So both of them being quite bad at it. Ethan Reed, though. He's closing the gap to Anthony Camacho. Still sitting in second place. He's ahead of Kanahari Hutama. No clue what happened there. We were looking at the battle for first place. But there comes Ethan Reed down the inside. He doesn't want to make too much of a move, because if he does make a collision with the pro driver, well, he'll be facing a much harsher charge. Or harsher penalty, not charge.
Sorry, I had to look away for a second. I completely lost about where I was looking. Gap between Abe Santama and Ben Langford, 1.6 seconds almost now. This pack of cars is absolutely insane. What on earth is going on here?
Yeah, you can actually see Kanahari Hutama in the background over there as Ethan Reed tries to go down the inside. And it's just not going to happen. That corner, well, being quite deadly, claiming at least one crash and maybe a couple others that we haven't seen. Kind of Hardy Hutama trying to get ahead of Tom Bartels so he can try and challenge Ethan Reed for second place yet again. And actually, who was second place? I think it was Limpar Bertold. Who is that off the track? I think that's Damon Boss.
Yeah, Damon Boss off track, rejoins nice and safely. A little bit of a collision there between, I think that is Anthony Camacho and Tom Bartels. Battling pretty hard at the moment. You'll see Ethan Reed's managed to make it clear of these two now, and I think Anthony Camacho might struggle to launch a re-offensive because he has the Season 1 Vgtr champion. A man who has, well, Tom Bartels, would you say he has mixed memories of Brands Hatch? I can think of one memory that will stand out for him immediately.
Yeah, definitely has some mixed memories of Brands Hatch for sure. I'm not sure which of those memories you might be talking about, but definitely a track that he remembers pretty vividly as he tries to go down the inside of Anthony Camacho, making that move stick. And now Gunnar Hardy Hutama.
He may have around Brands Hatch, Tom Bartels is vanquishing them, and now he is free to try and catch up to Ethan Reed. If he can keep Anthony Camacho behind him here, it won't be easy, but he is battling behind Gunnar Hardy Hutama and Michal Malacek. Will not be wanting to let Anthony Camacho and Tom Bartels get away too quickly, because of course they'll have their own vested interest in catching Ethan Reed, challenging for P2 in the AM standings.
Actually,
what I wouldn't give to be Rogerio Santos right now. He must be the most relaxed man on planet Earth.
Absolutely. I mean, he's got, what is that, a nearly a 50-second gap to P2 in his respective split. He's third place overall. I mean, he could just sit down for a beer if he wants to. I mean, that man has built himself such a massive gap. He's done so well. He's on par with Mattis's pace. Probably the best race you could imagine in the AM split right now.
Yeah, one of those performances which I have to say more or less flawless. I mean, he was helped out by the incidents that Gunnar Hardy Hutama got himself involved with early on, but as soon as that opportunity presented himself, there's simply nobody else who was able to challenge him. Rogerio Santos, fast, calm, consistent, clean. I mean, we haven't actually cut to him the entire race because he just hasn't been involved in any incidents.
No, absolutely.
And it's to his credit as well. He's 12 seconds behind Ames Santama here. I don't know what Ames' tyres are looking like. Rogerio Santos pitted later than anybody.
I think Abe's tyres are looking like triangles. I don't think they're too good.
I'm not going to say that it's going to happen, but there's a chance for Rogerio Santos to claim P2 if Abe Santama's tyre woes catch him out and force another one of the mistakes that we have seen Abe make on a couple of occasions in this race. No doubt he is driving under the hardest of conditions at the moment, certainly the hardest conditions of anybody in this race, with the state that his car must be in by now. But
yeah, and his tyre is definitely feeling it because he is nearly 1.5 seconds slower than Ben Langford per lap so far. So yeah, I don't want to know what it's like to be driving in the Porsche on those tyres. Yeah, I don't want to know. You'd have to pay me.
Pretty deadly combination as we see Ben Langford.
And actually, hold on. Miguel Astazarin and Marcin Domanski having a battle in the background as Mattas is trying to break it up. He's going to go for the middle over here. And this is probably one of the only battles he's been involved in. Also a pretty quiet race for Mattas. He's running in 4th, 3rd overall. This might be one of his first podiums in the season. So, you know what? Kudos to him. As Ben Langford was involved in some sort of collision. I just thought we would catch that. But Marcin Domanski still in a battle with Miguel Astazarin. This is for 16th place or whatever place that is in the AM split.
Yeah, it is 8th place, I believe. 9th place in the AM split at the moment they are fighting for. Matas Sidakaskis, as you say, had an early battle with Eric Gasell, but as soon as that was over, as soon as Eric Gasell spun out and sent himself back to the pits, it's been it's been a very, very Rogerio Santos-esque performance from Matas Sidakaskis today. Quiet, clean, consistent. What on earth has he done with the real Matas?
Yeah.
No, it's been a very good performance from today. Limpar Berthold has spun off his own accord on the exit of Sheen Curve. He's facing backwards down the straight. He's going to rejoin nice and safely though. Lovely little half spin to get himself back facing in the right direction. He will lose positions to Robert Besant and John Gibson. However, John Gibson, as far as recovery drives go, he would honestly have much preferred to be where he was before, fighting with Anthony Camacho and Ganahari Hitama for the last spot on the podium in the AM split. But he's still probably going to be able to walk away with a 5th or 6th place in this race. And as far as recovery drives go, I think he's done a decent job to limit the damage as much as possible. He has been very, very consistent today.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the trend of Gibson not having the greatest of races this season, I think this is one of his best so far, as he is also going to be battling Robert Besant, as you say, for 5th place in the closing stages of this race. Ganahari Hitama did lose out to Michal Malajek for a lap, but able to reclaim 3rd place as it stands. And look at that, hold on, might we get rain in the last 10 minutes? If you look at the weather forecast, there might be a bit of rain.
I am rubbing my hands together in pure hope. This is a proper Formula 1 weather forecast we've got here. We've got rain right in the last closing stage of the race, or possibly just after the checkers have flown. It is, the curse of every single viewer of any kind of motorsport, really. I guess unless you're in America and everything stops as soon as there's a splash of water on the track. Which, they do, to be fair, they do speedways. It is much safer. Look at Limpar Berthold diving down the inside of John Gibson at the final corner, and somehow he's got the traction to make that move stick. John Gibson falls down to P14 over P7 in the AM split. Limpar Berthold with an absolutely stunning move there, has to be said. I thought he'd go flying off the track. It was remarkably well controlled, and now Robert Besant is going to be under pressure from the Hungarian driver in the number 81 Nissan GTR.
And I'm just gonna go on board, since I wanna see the moment when the rain starts dropping, because the drivers will definitely be freaking out, because, well, won't be able to go onto the wets, since that would be a very stupid move. We'll be have to tiptoeing the last, 3 minutes, the last couple of laps, last 2 laps.
The universe just wants to make Abe Santana's race even harder. Oh, you're on really dead, dry tyres? Or how about we make them really dead and completely unsuitable for the conditions as well?
Exactly.
Why not? I was going to say when it rains it pours, but that feels like it's a little bit too appropriate at the moment. It's going to see this battle continue. Berthold here.
He's going to touch!
Slight contact, I think. Nose to tail contact there. Robert Besant slow, making contact with Limpar Berthold. They're both slow coming out of Sheen Curve there.
And John Gibson might be able to go down the inside here.
That's exactly what I was saying. John Gibson, perfect exit, pushes Robert Besant off the track. I think that's a perfect illegal manoeuvre in my view, though. But of course, I'm not steward. I don't know shit. Robert Besant forced back down to P14, and now John Gibson will be hoping to have a move pulled off on Limpar Berthold, who covers the inside very, very nicely, had just about enough room. And at least for the next few corners, one would assume Limpar Berthold has 12th place overall, P5 in the AM split, more or less locked down.
Though I'm not sure if that P5 is too locked down.
I said for the next few corners.
Oh, the next few corners. Oh, my apologies, yeah.
Beyond then, who knows? If there's one thing the AM split has taught me, it's that you don't try and predict the AM split.
Exactly. Maybe John Gibson will be able to get his well-deserved 5th place, as he's just getting way too close to the back of that Nissan, trying to make it right alongside him.
Berthold's wide. I think they were both wide there. Gibson, though, has so much pace. Coming out of the back straight through Hawthorns and through this whole section, Gibson is devilishly quick. You could see how close he got to the back of Limpar Berthold here, and you might be able to see he got a much better X out of the penultimate corner there. He might be able to launch a move. He definitely won't do it into the final corner, of course. That would be suicidal. But he might be able to do something here. He is right on the tail of the number 81 Nissan GTR. Will he make a move into Paddock Hill Bend? No, he knows better than that. He's more sensible than that. Just trying to apply pressure to Alberto, maybe force a mistake. Druids is the best overtaking opportunity on the entire track.
On the inside, that is an absolute dive.
He's absolutely sent it. But
and absolutely wide.
It was lost in the mail. He's found himself off track. And he'll retake P13.
Well, that was an absolute dive from outer space. All I can say.
Yep. Felix Baumgartner shit.
Whatever you said. Absolutely. The absolute.
People don't know Felix Baumgartner? How old am I?
I don't know. Too old.
He's the guy who jumped from space.
Oh, the Red Bull dude? I don't know his name.
Red Bull dude. I don't know why I remember it that much, to be fair. I'm hoping that, you know, hopefully someone in the chat like what I was doing. Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, racing.
Yep.
Alberto.
Exactly. Still no rain.
Still no rain.
Still no rain.
That's just the way. As soon as we mention it, it means the rain doesn't come anymore.
Exactly. That's the VGTR way. When there's rain, there's no rain. Oh, John Gibson going absolutely wide, and well, I don't know why that happened or how that happened, but he has conceived the position to Robert Besson, and now he's sitting in 14th place. Behind him, Benjamin Koo. Hold on, I didn't even know Benjamin Koo was in this battle. Where did he come from?
I think they've been fighting each other so much that a couple of drivers have been able to catch up. We've also got, if they keep slowing each other down, we might even be able to get Miguel Astiazaran in this battle as well. Limp Alberto, I can tell you as well, had a little bit of a moment. He was a little bit slidey coming out of Paddock Hill Bend there. Impressed he managed to keep it together, but he also didn't lose much time. He's still got a 1.2 second gap back to John Gibson. So far, I'd say he probably has like the fastest driver of the three on raw pace this weekend, but Gibson, as we know, right now has the bit between his teeth, and if he can keep it together, well, he might have one last chance. Of course, a lap and a half still to go. It's going to be a tall order, but we never know what John Gibson might be capable of here, as I can tell you, Ben Langford has just gone on to his final lap of the race.
Well, hopefully that lap for him will be dry, but hopefully it'll be wet for these drivers, as they're going to be some of the final ones to come across the line, and, well, maybe they'll mix up the order. Maybe Matas will not be able to finish this race in third. Who knows?
Yeah, it looks like we should have an interesting final lap here. Lots of battles all over the place. As I can tell you, one driver's round looks like Procolo Di Mano. Again, having a pretty rough race today. He brought out the yellow flags again for one reason or another. Benjamin Koo's gone past Robert Besson.
Oh, John Gibson.
At Paddock Hill Bend.
Losing out those positions to Benjamin Koo and Robert Besson yet again. Just as you think he's having a good race, things completely turn upside down.
So unfortunate, but one man with no misfortune today. Through the final corner now for Ben Langford, coming up to the line. It is going to be Ben Langford to take the win today. What can you say? Great performance, gentlemanly performance, but at the end of the day, too quick for Abe Santama.
He's going to be coming across the line soon as well. He's got a lot of traffic in front of him, but it won't matter, because he's going to be finishing in second place and keeping that championship battle alive, as they're going to come into the third race soon. And, well, Matas, he's got a long way to go until he finishes in third place. But it's a very good race for the Lithuanian. He is going to be able to secure P3 for the first time in VGTR Season 7, or maybe even the first time in VGTR Season history. I have no clue, but definitely for the overall race, going to be finishing in third place.
Rogério Santos, and say as well, came across the line to secure his victory. Oh, hang on, he's disappeared from the standings.
He's probably left already.
He's just, well, he was, before anything like that happened, he was third. You know, he has taken off already. He's already skipped town. You haven't given him his trophy yet. He hasn't got the prize money.
No interviews, no nothing, just left.
He's, you know, maybe not one for the media. Rogério Santos, as he the last few drivers trickle in. Last driver to cross the line will be number 222, Porsche of Ethan Reed.
To take second place, actually, behind Rogério Santos. Well,
yeah. that is, well,
That's a race. That's a wrap. That is an absolute amazing race. I have to say so myself. How are you thinking about this race? The first race back for you.
probably the last for a while. You know, I'm not normally free on Saturdays. This was just, you know, this was, this came up. I've been just, you know, like I say, cleaning my apartment all day. I thought, why not take a little bit of a break, get some commentary in for the first time in a while. It's now dark outside. When did that happen? But yeah, it was nice to be back. I think I came back at a good race. Brands Hatch is always a recipe for some good racing, close racing, and normally a little bit of chaos as well. It is a fantastic track. Of course, I am more than a little bit biased, but it is a fantastic track, and I am not surprised in the slightest to see that everyone had such a great time. Oh, there's the rain. Oh, the rain just begun. There it is.
Abe Santaman literally just completed an extra lap, and if we had one extra lap, that would have been the rain. Well, some things just don't come true. Some dreams just don't.
It's because we brought it up, but yeah, I think it was a fantastic race. Final standings looking, I think, really, really interesting here. Only two non-finishers, only two drivers who didn't take the checkered flag, Lunken and Eric Gesell. Today, you know, we had as many cars as possible on track for as long as possible. Plenty of action, lots to enjoy. That's the VGTR challenge, isn't it?
Absolutely is. Well, it's been a pleasure having you here. Hopefully you can join for some more races, maybe the Sunday ones. Actually, you're joining for the tomorrow one. You'll be here commentating with me. Well, from your car.
So at times I'll be driving, and then at some point during a pit stop, I might hop into the on-air thing to say hello and talk about how the race is going.
Absolutely. Maybe if you are in the VC with the rest of them, I might bug you a little bit. Who knows?
I don't know if I can do that. I need full concentration. Like, you don't
absolutely,
know, yeah. You don't know how hard it is for me to talk and drive at the same time. Oh, hang on a minute. What have I done? Yo, I can change my mouse's DPI. That's mad. Anyway, this is perfect timing. My girlfriend's calling me, so I gotta go.
All right. Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you so much for joining. Jesus, I can't say it anymore.
Thank you. It was great to have me here. See you all in the
guys.
future.